Well, we know that what we mean by the good life is the moral life. It's the seeking and the growing of the good. The recognition that we are called to goodness, we're called to flourishing. And the moral life is the way that we cultivate the virtues, it's character. How are we then not only moving towards, but realizing the good that God is calling us to now, and of course perfected in the life to come. So friendship is something that we see as helping us in this journey of realizing the depth to which God is calling us, the goodness to which God is calling us now, and also the perfection that God calls us to in beatitude or the life to come. Friends and the way that we understand love in general, whether we're talking about caritas, God's love for us, agape, the generous love that we give to the community, eros, that specific love, in erotic love in terms of specific relationship, and philia. All of these come together to help us to understand what it is that God is calling us to. And in a sense, to be social beings is to be beings in relation, right? I mean, that's what it means. And God has called us into relationships with one another. And God has loved us so that we may love one another in God. And this is really the source also for what we call social justice. It's also the source for our understanding of the good that God has called us to. So friends help friends in understanding the good that God has called us to. And I'm very struck, in the works of theologians who are exploring this, and philosophers. In fact, more recently, there's new interest in the notion of friendship and the moral life. Some philosophers are wondering about how do you balance, the idea of agape and philia, the idea of generous love without seeking return, and the kind of preferential love that you have with friends. So there's a lot of debate about agape and philia. The other debate is, are men and women different in forming friendships? And can men and women form friendships? So these are some questions that are being raised. And so I think philosophers are taking up this whole idea of friendship once again, which is why I have a new course this fall, on friendship. So we'll be looking at friendship and virtue and wrestling with some of these questions that philosophers and theologians are raising about the importance of friendship in the moral life, the importance of friendship in moral life. So both the question and the statement we'll be looking at in this course.